Good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode 303 of the Aussie Gamers Experience podcast. Joining me on deck tonight is Lucas and Grejio to go over the week that was. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some little inside for The Last of Us 2, Sony to cough up to the ACCC, Into the Dungeons, itch.io bundle, the PS5 is on hold. Well, that's a bit baity, the release info is on hold anyway. A GT7 on release, Red Dead, a bit of Switch, and much, much more. Editing Lucas, let's go!
This is the Aussie Gamers Experience video game podcast. This show is recorded during temperatures in summer that are too hot for dragons and in winter colder than my mother-in-law's heart. So join us as we discuss video games as best we can, all while dodging redback spiders, brown snakes, and all those other things that try to hurt, maim, or even kill us. But remember, all we need to do is stay alive long enough to see the release of that next awesome video game. Enjoy the show.
Thank you for tuning into episode 303 this week. Today is Monday, the 8th of June. Grejio, welcome, mate. How are you?
Hey, I'm well, man. And yourself?
Good. Happy long weekend.
Same to you.
Good stuff. And joining us as well, no one other than Lucas. How are you, mate?
Good, thank you. It's a long weekend, is it? I have no idea. I have no concept of time.
I'm taking an extra long weekend, so it's that's good. It's very good at the moment, though. There isn't much concept of time, really, in the grand scheme of things. I just don't have to work tomorrow.
Speaking of which, I actually had to explain to my oldest why we had a public holiday today.
Yep.
And it was an interesting conversation, to say the least, because I told him it was the Queen's birthday, and he was like, first we had to kind of...
So where's the cake?
It was like, well, Queen, like, we what Queen? We don't have a Queen. I'm like, yes, we do.
Yeah, Jeff that lives 3 doors down. It's his birthday.
Yes.
Jeff!
And then it was a case of, well, then why do we get a birthday? Just because it's the Queen? Like, why do we get a holiday? Just because it's the Queen's birthday? It's the Queen's birthday, not our birthday. So
it's
then
a paid day off. You don't ask questions.
I know.
Just take it.
So in the end, actually, I got him to summarize it back to me to see if he understood it. Which this was how he summarized it. It's the Queen's birthday, and she's commanded that we have the day off. And I went, perfect.
That works.
That works. I'll take that one. She's commanded that we have the day off. And I'm like, done. And I think he was commanded that I don't have to go to school. See, this is why it's all of a new thing for him, because it's a day that he doesn't have to go to school. So it's now unusual. Public holiday is an unusual thing to him now. So yeah, it was funny and interesting.
Well, a big shout out to everyone that has joined us live today. So we've got Az, Kaza, Martikins, Radicus, Stewie, and The Wraith. Welcome, guys. Hope you're all jumping in and having a bit of fun, as you always do. How about we jump straight into This Week in Gaming?
Let's do it.
I've got something very, very strange for This Week in Gaming. 2018, released by Bethesda, developed by Bethesda. Anyone got any ideas of what time of year it currently is, like right now, this long weekend?
What do you mean, what time of year? What?
Well, what's usually happening this long weekend?
E3?
E3.
Yeah.
So in 2018, at E3, Todd, the one Todd, come on stage and released Skyrim, the very special edition. So the very special edition of Skyrim is a free voice-controlled game for Amazon Alexa.
Was that really a thing?
Did you not know it was actually a thing? So it was originally a piss take.
I remember the piss take.
I remember the piss take.
An actual thing.
It was originally a piss take, and then someone at Bethesda went, you know what? We can make it work.
Oh my God. I didn't even know. So that's how good it is.
No, that's how good Bethesda is. At that point, they were really at their low point. They were really starting to get stuck in the quagmire and went, hey, that's a great idea. Let's get with that. People will pay for that, right?
So it's not a full port of the original Skyrim game. It's a simplified version that lets the players become dragonborn in a narrated story. So all the creatures, monsters, and all that sort of jazz, they're all there, but limited on how you can react with them in what capacity. So it's pretty much just a told story that you play through.
Well,
This is
just
a
audio,
glorified
right?
text adventure.
Yeah. It's a spoken text adventure,
Right.
but it's
So
Skyrim.
bad.
That sounds shit. I could imagine some
It's so
dude.
bad. So
I
bad.
could imagine some dude up late playing that shit on his bedside table alarm clock, and the missus saying, "Shut the fuck up and go to bed."
You do that one more time, and I'm leaving this house. You'll be as single as you're trying to be right now.
He sneaks up to the little bedside table and goes, "Hey Alexa, do Fuzrodar," and then it goes. Fuzrodar! And everyone wakes up in the house.
Right, that's it.
We're out.
I'm out.
I'm taking the kids and I'm going to my mother's. Woohoo! Hey Alexa, turn on the Xbox.
Get it going. We don't have to worry about it then. So it's a real thing. If anyone's listening has actually had a go of it, please let us know. I want to know what it's like. I don't have anything Alexa.
No, neither do I.
I can't play it, but let us know. All right, guys, let's jump straight into some game talk, shall we?
Yeah.
Okay, everyone listening at home, everyone in the chat, you've been waiting for this. We've teased it a little bit. Lucas and I have been playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Oh, I thought we were going to go into a racing game from Greg.
Not this week. Not this week.
We're going straight for the jugular with The Last of Us Part 2 talk straight out of the gates.
Straight out of the gate, because in all honesty, it's all I've done.
Well, yeah, it's pretty close to all I've done too. I've put many late nights into it.
All right, well, mate, I'll let you, being the Last of Us, the super fan that you are, I'll let you kick it off and take it away with Part 2. We've got to be very vague because it's not actually released yet, but we've got some early thoughts and feels for you.
All right. Well, The Last of Us Part 2 doesn't release until the 19th of June 2020. However, we were lucky enough here at the Aussie Gamers Experience to get an early review code. We got it last week. We got it downloaded and we started playing it. Now, we can share early preview sort of stuff now. And then on the 12th, we can do specific kinds of review. And then on actual release date, we can release our full-blown reviews. Snoogs' review, I believe, will be available from the 12th. Is that right, Snoogs?
Yep.
My one, however, won't be until release date because it has a different kind of content. However, The Last of Us Part 2, I've played through the entire game now and finished it, and there's a lot in there, but there's only a little bit that we can talk about. But as for experience-wise, my first thought when this game booted up on my PlayStation 4 Pro was, this game has absolutely no right looking as good as it does on a PlayStation 4 Pro with the fan so quiet as it is. And I will tell you now, this game is very optimized. They did a very good job. Maybe we can attribute this to the 2 delays that we got. However, the game is one of the best looking games that I've seen on the console, but it runs so damn good. Like, you can hear the fan. It's running, being realistic. However, it's not ridiculous. It actually runs really good.
It's my fan and I've actually pulled my console apart to check that it was clean and it's spotless inside. My fan, when I'm playing Call of Duty, I can hear it over my headphones at full volume. That's, if I'm in the same room. I've played The Last of Us Part 2 in my lounge room on the big TV without headphones on and didn't hear it. And I'm playing it at night without headphones on, so I don't have it cranked because the rest of the house is asleep, so I'm not able to have it turned up. So I've got it at a decent volume, and I still can't hear it going. So it's It's really well optimized, and God, it looks gorgeous.
It does, yeah. Now, we've got Radicus has got a question in the chat here saying, look better than Red Dead Redemption 2. I assume that's a question. He hasn't used a question mark, however, he's new to technology, so I'll pass on that and assume it's a question. Red Dead Redemption 2 and The Last of Us 2, you can't really compare the two. They are two very different games. The Last of Us Part 2, same as The Last of Us Part 1, is a linear game. It's not an open world game. However, the sections of gameplay are a lot larger than, say, a regular linear game. And comparing it to The Last of Us Part 1, the areas are a lot larger and there's a lot more to investigate. However, it's not a massive open world, but we've all seen it. Surely you guys have seen gameplay of The Last of Us Part 2. It looks just as good as that. Well, it probably looks better because when you're actually playing it raw on your console, it looks a lot better than compressed video of a YouTube video that has been shown. But the graphical fidelity is well beyond the original Last of Us, which is obvious. That was a last generation game, but this is I would assume that they're using the same engine of Uncharted because
it feels very much like it.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in there that you feel it looks and feels a lot like those same kind of graphics, which are really polished, and you can tell that they've done a lot of work to make it look as beautiful as it does. There's seamless transitions between gameplay and cutscene. It's one of those games where you can't necessarily tell whether or not you should be holding your controller or sitting back and having a bit of a watch because it's seamless. There's no cutting. In The Last of Us Part 1, there was an obvious black screen and then a cutscene. That's gone now. It literally just smooth straight into sort of cinematics and vice versa. Loading, I remember the loading of The Last of Us Part 1. When you started a game from...
It was horrendous.
Oh, yeah. When you loaded the game up for the first time, it takes a long time. And long time, maybe a couple of minutes to load the thing. And then it was decent through the rest of the game. This one's really snappy to start off with. And I don't actually recall any load times ever again. And it was... No. As an actual program running, it runs really well. So I was very impressed with that. All right. But as I've reiterated, we are sort of bound a little bit by what we can and can't say. A little bit that's being ridiculous. It's a fucking lot. We need to follow a lot of rules here with what we can and can't say. But what I wanted to mention before, now this is going to be separate to what I sort of specifically mentioned in the review that I'm making. But this is another point I'd like to make here. This game is prime candidate for tall poppy syndrome. Now this isn't just any old game that, there's a sequel out to that game. I'll have a look at that. This isn't that. And this isn't fanboy me talking. All right, this is me as a video game connoisseur,
reviewer,
if you will. I'd look at things and critique them. Now, this game, what I said, just reiterating, is prime candidate for tall poppy syndrome because it is held so high in regard by many in the video game community. This game will be torn to pieces, but not necessarily for the right reasons. Because of how popular it is, this game will be nitpicked. And that disappoints me. And the only reason I'm saying it about this game is that I've seen it time and time again of other games that are in this kind of caliber. No matter how good it just seems that the higher praise a game gets, the more, and you will see videos popping up on YouTube when this game releases saying, watch this before buying The Last of Us Part 2. The Last of Us Part 2 is rubbish, don't buy it. And that's a tall poppy syndrome thing. And that is something that I like to point the finger at those kind of people and tell them to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, it's one of those things that negativity gets clicks.
Yeah. Yeah,
and a lot of people will see the negativity towards it, and it is just someone. It's 100% you've got it on the right head. That tall poppy syndrome side of it, because The Last of Us held such a place in so many people's hearts that it is such a gripping story that it was always going to be a bit of a risk to do a second one. And, sorry if I'm stuttering a bit, I'm trying to choose my words correctly, but it's it's going to be a shame to see that, because I think that'll turn some people off, where it's a ride. If you thought the first one was a ride, part 2 it's just taking that next step forward, that next real sort of leap, I suppose you'd say. And I think they've treated the source material quite well.
As for gameplay, it feels like I'm playing The Last of Us Part 1 with fancy new graphics and new areas. And
that's a very Naughty Dog title.
Yeah, that is a good thing.
That's positive. Yeah.
The controls are faithful, so if you are used to the controls of The Last of Us Part 1, it's going to be very easy to switch across. The main difference that I found with the controls is with the PS3 version, the original version, because the PS3 controller was shit with the triggers,
yeah.
They actually made L1 aim and R1 aim instead of actually using the triggers, because the triggers were rubbish on the DualShock 3.
Yep.
They've actually switched it over now, so it's L2 and R2 to aim and shoot. For me personally, that felt wrong, because it's just not how The Last of Us is played. The remaster changed it as well for the PS4, and that used the triggers, because the DualShock 4 controller triggers are a lot better. But I switched them. You can change the controls. The controls in The Last of Us Part 2 are 100% customizable for accessibility purposes, right? However, I went into the settings to see if it literally just had switched those two buttons, and it doesn't. You actually have to remap everything, so I didn't bother.
Oh, okay.
I just left it as it was. But control-wise, it's very similar to The Last of Us Part 1, so it's an easy crossover. Now, when we get to the game itself, it's pretty big. It's very big. Very, very
Much
big.
bigger than I was anticipating.
Yes. I don't want to say how long it took me to finish it, because that's highly dependent on how much you do. Now, this game could easily have taken double the time I took to play this game, but it still took me a very long time.
The easiest way to put it in perspective when we talk about the time that it took, there's it's a linear game, and where you've got to go. It's it follows all the sorts of rules that you get with gaming in regards to seeing where the next step is, but you've got a very a broad sort of open section that you can search, whether it be going through buildings, searching out for parts like you did in the first one. And the one thing that I did like as well is the side stories make a return.
Yeah. The
stories where you get snippets of other people's lives and what's going on. That's one thing that I really like. Just with notes that you find throughout the world. I liked that side of it, because I am someone that goes and wanders, so to speak.
Now, just a question here. Martikins has asked, the real question is, do you think you will 100% this one like you did the first one? There's two answers, two ways that I can answer this. And one way is the Greg way, and the other way is just the plain old yes. Yes, I will. Now, unfortunately, the trophy system isn't available to us just now. So although I was unlocking trophies as I played through, I don't know what else there is. And I don't know what I did to unlock them, because with early review copies, when you get them, you can unlock trophies, but the trophy list isn't there yet. So we can actually check what they are. But yes, I absolutely will be playing this game many, many times over and over again. And just picking my words again, not sure what information I'm allowed to give out. The hardest difficulty is going to scare me, because I played this through on the easiest difficulty that's available. And I did that because I don't want to get stuck in a section of game, right? And then have me get the shits at the game and potentially stop playing it for that reason.
Well, that's the exact reason. When you and I first started doing the show, and you'd take the piss out of me because I hadn't finished the first one, it was because I'd gotten stuck, because I was trying to play it just on the normal difficulty, and you went, look, it's just a story. You've got to experience the story before you do it, and put the difficulty down and just play it. I did that, and I didn't put it down.
Yeah.
And I've done the same this one. I've just put on the easiest because I want to experience the story and get through it and just see where it goes.
The Last of Us Part 1 just like The Last of Us Part 2, is super fun and engaging on the easiest setting. And I recommend the easiest setting to enjoy the story and feel like a badass. But my plan, which is what I did with the last game, is I play through on the easiest, do a new game plus, clean up all the trophies on however many playthroughs that I need to, and then go for the difficulty one. As I've played it through a couple of times, I know the game, so I'm going to have an advantage on the hardest difficulty of knowing what's where and how to best negotiate these areas. But what I can say is, if you thought the infected and the clickers were scary, play The Last of Us Part 2.
Question from good old Stewie. Do you think it's worth playing the first again than playing this one so you follow the story better?
I know the answer to this one.
Oh, what do you think the answer is, Gretch?
I would suggest that you would just say you should play it anyway because it's such a good game.
Well, look, if you've got the time. I mean, look, for me, I didn't really play through the first one recently, but I've played it that many times. I know the ins and outs of the story. Look, this is the kind of game, this is probably the first game that I've ever run into where, to the question of should I play the first one before this one? Like if you've never played the first one? Yes.
Yep.
Yes. Don't play The Last of Us Part 2 if you haven't played the first one. Play the first one first. Abso-freaking-lutely. This is one of those games where you probably need to know what happened in the first one.
Yes.
Otherwise, you probably will miss a lot of the meanings and what's going context, on. Yeah. Absolutely.
You don't technically need to, but you should.
I feel like your experience is going to be far less impressive if you haven't played the first game. So yes. Revisiting it, I mean, that's a matter for yourself. If you want to refresh your memory, go for it. Or if you don't want to go through the entire game, maybe watch a YouTube video that's like a recap. But look, yeah, that's up to yourselves.
Whereas there's so much more I want to talk about.
Ellie played Tomb Raider and now she can swing on ropes. Yeah, that's a thing. That is a thing.
And she can swim.
And she can swim. That was in the videos. So that we can
in the latest trailer.
Yeah,
and quite funnily, Neil Druckmann actually released a video saying he was amazed that no one commented on the fact that Ellie could now swim, but everyone was blown away that there was a PS Vita in the future. Someone was sitting there in the middle of this pandemic and they were playing the Vita. So that was in the trailer. Yeah. Last of Us Part 2 releases 19th. Yeah, sorry, you were going.
Something I can recommend. You know that scene in the trailer or the gameplay that they've recently released where you can see the Vita?
Yeah.
Well, I played through that part and I couldn't help myself, but I turned on photo mode and zoomed in on the screen and had a look at the game that was being played. Have a look.
Okay.
Have a look. I'm not going to say anything further on it, but have a look and see if you can pick what game's being played on the screen. Because I think I know what it is.
All right. I'll have to have a look. Good stuff. I don't think there's anything else we can cover, but any other questions?
Yeah, if there's any questions, if we can answer it, go for it now. Happy to spill as much as we can. However, if it's something we can't, we'll move on.
No worries. Anything from you, Greg?
No, like I said, I think you've covered the main bases, the sights, the sounds, the feel. Clearly, you're both happy with the game, so that's good. It wasn't one that I was hanging for, but it is one I definitely want to play because I enjoyed the first one so much. So,
all right. Well, finishing up, Neil Druckmann said that if The Last of Us Part 1 was about hope, then The Last of Us Part 2 is about hate. And all I can say is that he is right. And if you are anything like me, make sure you've got a large pitcher of water with you while you were playing. Otherwise, you will have dehydration issues after a session of playing The Last of Us Part 2. Take from that what you will.
I can confirm.
Yes. There we go. All right. Well, if there's no further questions, let's move on before we fuck up and say something we shouldn't.
Say something we should have. All right. Well, from one end of the spectrum to the other, Grejio, Animal Crossing, mate.
Yeah. So
you've been able to wrangle the Switch off Deb? off Rem?
Well, yeah, it was a stroke of genius on my behalf. So
What's it over there? Yoink.
no, it wasn't. It was sitting on her lap. That was the best part. So we were both sitting on the bed, and I think one of us had just made the other one a cup of tea, and we were sitting down on the bed, and she turned on the switch, put it on her lap, and was waiting for Animal Crossing to load. And she said, "Oh, the controller's there if you want to watch something on the TV." And without saying a word, I just picked up the switch out of her lap and started playing. And she's like, "Oh, you want to have a go, do you?" I said, "Well, I bought you your Switch back from your birthday, and I technically haven't had a go at this thing yet, short of playing on the TV with one of the Joy-Cons. I actually haven't played the whole console yet." She's
Now,
like,
did you start your own character, or did you just play off her character?
No, so I started my own character, but on her island. So
Yes, and of course, you don't have a choice but to do it on her island, right?
yeah. So yes, so
What a bucket of shit. But anyway.
fun times that is. So I played it. So I gave it a fairly decent crack. I played it for a couple of hours actually. I paid off all my Nook miles for my moving.
Oh, you mean your debt?
Yeah, my first moving fees debt. So I played through until I pretty much finished that. I mean, I wasn't sure whether I was coming back to it, so I didn't really invest in it all that much because I was just like, you know what, I'll just do this. I'll make a bunch of money and I'll just donate it to the island so Rem can do more with the island. That was kind of how I sort of went into it. I didn't expect anything from it, and I wasn't overly invested in it. But it's quite a nice little game. It's a whittling game is the best way I can describe it, because you just sort of just chip away at things and nothing overly meaningful is happening, but at the same time it just feels really nice to just sit and just do little things that slowly add up over time. It was fun. I really enjoyed it. I'm not sure there's much more I can say than what everyone in the last couple of weeks has said about it anyway. But I really enjoyed it. So I bought some turnips. So I've got to go back sometime this week and sell them. But
yeah, it's an absolutely pointless game, but it's addictive as all hell. Yeah, with those turnips, I've bought them before. I did buy some on Sunday because they're only available on Sundays between 6 a.m. and 12 p.m. And it's a bit of a stock market thing where you get two prices each day of the week, Monday through Saturday. And I don't know, every single time I buy them, the prices to sell them are always abysmal, but people are always talking about how you can make so much money on these bloody turnips. Does my head in, but anyway, I'll let you know if I ever make a mint on it, but I haven't though. It's a pain in the ass.
Well, I went big. I spent about 10 grand on turnips, so I'll either be like super good or super bad.
Yeah.
Well, but the beauty was I bought them, and then I had a little package fly over me shortly after, and I hit it with a slingshot, and it dropped 10 grand. So I was like, no harm, no foul. This is all just play money now.
Yeah. Yeah, well, early in the game, 10,000 bells is quite a lot. But I think I dropped about the same as Martikins on Sunday. I dropped about 100,000 bells on turnips. And the annoying thing is, I don't know if you can put your turnips in your storage. I'm not sure if you can do that, because for some reason I always put them on the floor. You probably can, but I don't know. And you can't bury them and grow more, which is a pain in the ass as well. Yeah, you can only drop them on the floor. There you go. That's the reason why I always leave mine on the floor. So unless you want to leave them sitting in your inventory, and yes, then you can accidentally eat 10 of them, and that's money down the toilet. But yeah, you just got to throw them on the ground somewhere. However, here's a tip for those playing at home. Ants are something that you can catch, and they go part of your Critterpedia. So if you're trying to catch everything, kind of Pokemon-esque, keep one turnip longer than a week. It will spoil, and if you leave it on the ground, ants will come. And you can catch ants. That's how you catch ants. I found out that by accident, and that ticks off one of your little Critterpedia things.
Cool.
Hey.
All right, we could go back to the land of playing video games that everybody enjoys. If you don't play Animal Crossing, none of this makes sense, and you just think we're insane.
No, it's I'm just sitting there going, okay, turnips on the ground, leave it, spoil, ants, lots of money. Yeah, okay, bye. Super Mario Maker 2.
Well, look, I don't really have much to say about that, but I just wanted to point out I bought Super Mario Maker 2 and I also bought Luigi's Mansion 3. And I bought both of them for a grand old total of about $110. If you want great prices like that, get onto our Discord and check out our specials, sales and specials, or whatever it's called in our Discord. Because last week, I don't know if it's still going, but last week there was amazing specials on Amazon AU. And if you want to get on top of that stuff, everyone's always sharing cool sales in there and you can get on top of it. But I bought that along with a new Pro controller for my Nintendo Switch, which is by 8-Bit Do. And I tried it today, and I've got an issue with it. I watched a few videos on it, and well, you guys probably wouldn't know him, but Nintendo Switch fans would probably know Wolf Den, YouTuber. He highly recommended it, but it comes with a battery, a rechargeable battery. Thankfully, it's removable because I think this one's fucked and it doesn't work. I can't get it to charge. It doesn't really like working from the battery, but putting double A's in it, it works perfectly. But this controller, Snoogs, I recommend you might look into something like this, and hopefully if you do, your battery works. But it's basically a Pro controller, but it has the ability to do like rapid fire, I guess you would say, which is absolutely perfect for Animal Crossing, because in Animal Crossing, those that play it know there's a lot of repetitive shit you need to do and button mashing to just press shit constantly. Well, this one you can turn on rapid fire and just hold the button down and it does it. You just wait and it'll do it all for you, as opposed to mashing the button over and over. But this is a pretty neat controller. I just need to work out what's going wrong with the actual battery. But anyway.
So is this one that looks like the SNES controller or the PlayStation controller?
Well, it kind of looks like a SNES controller if you added on the PlayStation 1 controller grips sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
So it has the grips on it. It's the 8-Bit Do SN30 Pro Plus.
Okay, yeah.
So I think
there's a Pro. Yeah, the Pro's just a slightly bigger SNES controller.
With thumbsticks, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas this one has the grips on it like a PlayStation 1 controller, and it also has proper triggers as opposed to just buttons, but I'm pretty sure they're just buttons anyway because the Nintendo Switch doesn't support analog triggers. But anyway, that was a pretty cool controller. It's just the battery, I think, is a bit stuffed in it. I might have to contact them about that. But yeah, the main point of pointing out those three things, because I haven't played those other games because I've been playing The Last of Us Part 2 all week. But I got them super cheap, which is why I bought them, even though I don't have time to play them at the moment. Get onto our Discord. Awesome. That's the best thing I ever did. And it's not even that old, that sales and discounts thing. Best thing I ever did, though. So much cool stuff gets put in there that's on sale and for free as well. So jump onto it.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right. Well, last game for this week, Grejio. Minecraft. Anything new happening in the Minecraft world?
Nothing that anyone wants to sit and listen to.
That's never stopped you before?
No. I've just been working on my survival realm, my specific one, and I've been in creative just sorting out what my new base in the realm is going to look like. I've been stuck on it for the last couple of weeks trying to work out exactly what I want, and I've finally hashed out the main components and what they're going to look like. I'm going to suggest it's very inspired by, let's say, Hand of Nod / Sith Lord sort of construct. It's lots of black and red. It's very evil and menacing and sharp. Looks really cool. I'm really happy with it. So, that's what I've been working on.
Nice. I haven't played any this week, I don't think.
There you go.
My daughter was playing Minecraft this afternoon. She's been getting into it a fair bit with her cousin. And today she actually put the headphones on and was in a chat party with her cousin. And I think her cousin's cousin, so like the cousin on the other side of the family, and the three of them were playing together, and Emily was so loud in the lounge room laughing and carrying on and playing, and I looked at her and looked at my wife and said, oh my god, and am I that obnoxious and annoying when I'm playing with headphones on in a chat party? I think the answer was pretty obvious that it was a yes. Wow, because that was so annoying. But anyway, she was having fun. That was good good to see.
That's all that matters, isn't it? Oh, Luke, you've got yourself another bit of a toy this week. Is it the Akai?
Yeah.
PC Mini?
The Akai APC Mini. Now, this isn't for everybody. I'm bringing this up because it's just plain old cool tech, and I absolutely love it. And I posted this on Twitter, and it got quite a few people's interest. And the thing is, this device is basically, it's like a little keyboard sort of thing with a whole ton of buttons on it. It's got 30 odd buttons and some volume sliders. Now, these are essentially used for the creation of music, and you can like attach to the buttons a drum beat, a snare hit, and all the like musical loops to make music, to make digital music. That's what this thing's for. However, I found a YouTuber that posted a video about how you can use this thing for anything, and coupling it with an audio program that I've been using for years but had no idea about this extra stuff it could do. I can now adjust audio on the fly while I'm in game. So if you're a PC gamer and you're chatting on Discord, you'll know that it can be a little bit annoying if maybe the game might be too loud, or you've got the Wraith in the chat and you've got to turn the volume down to the chat so you can hear a cutscene. It might be annoying. I just took the piss out of the Wraith there without even batting an eye there. Anyway, now I've got a physical button on the top of a dial on my desk that I can adjust without having to alt-tab out of the game and change anything. I can do it all while in-game. He's typing in caps there saying Bahala, because yeah, he's a noisy bastard. So I can do all that now, but then also this thing doubles as a stream deck. So you guys know what a stream deck is, yeah? Mm-hmm. Elgato make these. Yeah, well, they are cool, but they're super expensive.
Expensive though.
Yeah, if you want the decent sized one, I think it's about $300, maybe more. Mm-hmm. And they've got a smaller one which is a little bit cheaper. But this thing that I've got does everything that the Stream Deck does. The biggest catch is it's not user-friendly, because this isn't designed to do these things that I'm doing. However, it can be done using coding and macros. Following some tutorials, I worked it out easy enough. Got it to work, no dramas. But it can be very, very scary for somebody that's hoping for a bit of a plug-and-play experience, so I don't recommend it. But the biggest thing about this is when I saw it, it's $135 Australian is how much this thing costs. And above and beyond a Stream Deck, I can control my system, my PC sounds, which is very handy for the podcast as well, because I can adjust things on the fly. But yeah, I've got all buttons set up now, so I can go to my different scenes in my live streams. I can attach buttons to play sound effects, anything that a Stream Deck does. But on top of a Stream Deck, I can also adjust the sounds of my stream, which you can't. There's no physical dials on a Stream Deck. They're all buttons. So I think this is probably has more functions for less, but it's at the cost of that plug-and-play user interface that Elgato has. So if you're interested in it, I can point you in the right direction to get the right tutorials, but it is very tricky to get set up. And if you are going to get it, make sure you buy a label maker at the same time, because there's so many buttons, they're so close together, it is easy to get lost as to what button does what. So I've labeled everything, and that took a very long time, but it was absolutely worth it. It's called the Akai APC Mini, and it's not an armoured personnel carrier, has nothing to do with that. I don't know what APC stands for, but it's a nice little deck to adjust stuff and have things do things. So cool. I love it. That's all I have to say about that.
Good stuff. I'll just add something in there. The coding, while daunting for some, it seems to be relatively straightforward when you look at what coding can be.
Yes, it's not like X049. It is plain English coding. Yeah.
It's pretty straightforward. So I don't think you've got to go and learn C++ or BASIC or anything like that. It's pretty good. I worked it out.
I'm a techie guy, so it was easy to follow, but it wasn't so hard that you need to be an engineer. If you are passionate and you think you're pretty good with tech, you'll probably be able to work it out. It's not stupid hard, but it's just not easy. I wouldn't call it easy.
All right, cool. That's it for Game Talk, unless anyone's got anything else that's come up.
Nope.
Good. Let's move on over to the news. Seeing as though we started the show with some Naughty Dog stuff, Naughty Dog have again been accused of plagiarism.
Yeah, I know. How about this? So this is news to me as well. I found through a couple of websites that they've released their latest trailer, and it has a song in it. Now, this song is, what's it called? I had it here somewhere.
Keep going.
True Faith. True Faith is the name of the song. Not a song I would know by the name, but when I heard the original, I'm like, oh, yeah, I know that song. It's one of those songs. But anyway, what they've done is that they have, in this latest trailer, Ellie actually sings a cover of this song. Only thing is that the parts of the song that Ellie sings are actually from a cover of the original, where the person that did that cover changed it a little bit. Okay, so they sort of like altered the lyrics a little bit for their own reasons. And this trailer actually has that version in the video. So the person who wrote the changes tweeted out saying, calling them out, saying you've stolen this, blah, blah, blah. They've deleted their tweets now since or whatever. But they've essentially asked for payment for this. However, they've looked into it, and you can't actually make money off taking somebody else's work and reworking it. That doesn't make it your own. It's still a cover. So there's probably
the original.
Yeah, but the thing is as well is that Sony, this is the sort of the reason, not the reasoning, this is the explanation of what likely has occurred. Is Sony says, okay, because Sony themselves don't make trailers. They have marketing companies for this kind of thing. And they've likely gone, make us a trailer. And they've gone, this is the trailer we're going to use. This is the royalties you need to pay for this song. And Sony have gone, here you go. So if there was a stuff up somewhere, it's very likely the marketing company that didn't look into the fact that they used the wrong lyrics. They've used the lyrics from a rework cover. So they may be getting in shit again for this sort of plagiarism sort of thing, or because they were in a little bit of hot water for The Last of Us Part 1 with, I don't even want to bring it up. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, don't bring it up again.
Yeah, because
idiot. Yeah.
Well, I feel like we might be leaving people hanging that listening to this are like, what the fuck are they talking about? I'll quickly mention it. You know that girl that may have slightly resembled Ellie, similar name?
Who kind of has a very similar name.
Ellen Page, I think her name is.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. I don't know. People are saying that it's happening again with this, but whatever. I don't know. I don't actually think they'll get in trouble.
What was the name of the song again?
Oh God, really? I don't remember. True Faith. Oh dear. I looked it up earlier today and watched the video, but True Faith by, what is it, Lottie Kestner, I think is the original. I can play a little bit if you want. I don't know.
I've got it as New Order being the original.
New Order, that might be right.
New Order would be the original.
Oh, the original is New Order. That's right. Yeah, sorry, I'm looking.
Lottie Kessler would be the cover.
I think that was the cover one. Yeah. It's pretty funny. Yeah.
Radicus is very upset you got that wrong.
All right, well, we'll leave that one alone now. Though, carrying on the same sort of line in regards to problems that Sony's facing, PlayStation Europe, of which PlayStation Australia is an arm of, have been fined by the ACCC.
Oh, yes. Yep.
Now, they were fined to it's about 2.4 million US, which works out at about 3.5 million Australian. So as penalty charges for making false and misleading representations on its website and in dealings with Australian consumers about their Australian consumer law and rights around that. There's no detail about what specifically. Apparently it was four customers that brought up this complaint, and it was that Sony Europe has misled customers after they purchased a game described as faulty. So you take about that, what game out there recently has been described as faulty?
Fallout 76.
It's not specifically said, but we can all assume.
But considering it's the same as last week's news, just with a different person, we all know.
Yes. So Sony informed customers they were not entitled to a refund if the game had been downloaded or if 14 days had passed since purchase, which of course isn't in line with Australian consumer laws. In Australia, digital purchases carry the same sort of cover as brick and mortar stores. So it's that's what you got to keep around. Pretty much that 3.5 million is to cover some legal costs as well, and they've got to pony up the money for it.
I've got a refund from Sony before on the PlayStation. Did you know that?
Yeah.
And
I remember speaking about it ages ago. Funnily
enough, it had to do with The Last of Us, the original game. I bought the... no, actually, it wasn't The Last of Us. I just got The Last of Us on the brain. It was a Call of Duty, is what it was. I bought Call of Duty Ghosts on the PS4 because I believe that ended up coming across from the PS3 or last gen or whatever. But I accidentally bought the DLC for the PS3 version, not the PS4. And I contacted Sony about it, told them what I'd done, and they're like, oh yeah, that's a simple fix. And they just refunded my money. And that was it. They there was no catch. They didn't put the money back on my account. They put it back on my PlayStation account. I put the money back in my bank, on my card where it came from. So, there was no issue. And then I just bought it again on the PS4. I stuffed up because I was doing it on my phone while I was out to dinner. I don't know why. It was an interesting conversation over dinner, probably. I'm just going to buy this DLC while you tell me about your day. But I had a really good experience with a refund for stuff on the PlayStation, but I don't know. I guess it might have been different circumstances where they were getting heaps of people just wanting to refund it for whatever reason. But oh well, they're in trouble.
Yeah, well, I think PlayStation took the same line that a lot of people did, that only Bethesda could authorise the refunds, and Bethesda said no. So that's kind of where it come back to. So same as the thing with EB Games last week. Fallout 76 was a shit fight. Unfortunately, Grejio, you told us before the show, League of Legends retired. I kind of thought that meant that it was deleted off the internet, but I'm guessing not.
No. So one of its greats, and I'm still trying to get my head. I'm still trying to get my head around this. Has retired at the ripe old age of 23. So the game, the player known as. Now I'm going to murder his name. It's Chinese, and it's one of those ones that's going to be a pain in the ass. I'm going to say Jin Uzi Zihao. If I've got it wrong, I apologize.
Oh, yeah, I know him.
From here on,
good bloke.
Uzi. All right. So he's actually quite well known in League of Legends. So he's had an 8-year career in League of Legends, and he's won multiple things. He actually topped out, so he's obviously Chinese. In China, he beat out major celebrities and movie stars for being the most popular person of the year, getting an award. He's with over almost 500 million votes for him. So he's very popular in the circles that know him, right? So he's had to retire due to...
Tunnel.
You're going to laugh, but essentially, so he's had multiple shoulder and hand injuries, and he's also suffering from type 2 diabetes, which when I read that, I sort of had this moment where I went, how there are just careers that damage you in certain ways, like obviously there's sportsmen who get leg injury, you've got knee injuries and shoulder injuries, rotor cuff injuries, and then you got bricklayers who've had bad backs and stuff like that. I'm just going, type 2 diabetes. That is a genuine concern for, I guess, a dude that's main job in life is to just sit around playing games all day. He described it as it was getting to the point where there was times where he couldn't even hold a mouse. He was in that much pain, which I'm really trying to say this without cynicism because It's just insane to me that there's a 23-year-old that's retired after an 8-year career due to damage to his arm and shoulder and his whole, body's ability to produce insulin, or because, he moves a mouse around all the time.
Because he wore the head down, mate, threw his shoulder out.
Yeah. So anyway, I just thought it was interesting when I got over laughing about it. But yeah, I just thought it was a really interesting concept. This is something we're going to see, is these pro gamers that start having gamer-related injuries.
Well,
now, I'm going to say type 2 diabetes is probably one that's going to slide out, because people are going to work out that you probably need more a healthy regime if you're going to be just sitting around doing nothing. And I think that's already becoming a thing in esports.
Hey, I've met some of the guys that play League of Legends on, I think they were the Legacy team for Australia, and those guys train like athletes.
They're quite fit.
Diets and they're quite fit. But like effectively, if he's got some of that issue in his his shoulder or his arms, that could very well be like a carpal tunnel sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Or an RSI type. It wouldn't have been something you would have thought about.
No, and look, there's already sort of discussions about whether he would have, if he'd been managed better, because he's part of a team that's sponsored by Nike, and like he's this major sort of team, and it's a team that also owns other teams within gaming. Like there's an Overwatch team that they look after and all this jazz. And they're saying that like this dude is OG. He was pro when the game first started, sort of thing, and has been around since. And there's already discussion about whether he would have seen a longer career if he'd been managed properly from the get-go. And there's probably some issues with education and understanding of what a gamer needs to be, and how their life sport balance should be, and stuff like that. And I think coming out of that, there will be some, I think, interesting conversation.
Yeah, cool. We'll keep an eye on that, see what comes out of it. Luke.
Yeah.
I saw this today, this bit of news, and I thought it had already happened once before, but Dead Island 2 unfinished leak.
Yeah.
So an unfinished build of it has apparently leaked online that's fully playable.
I don't look, it's new to me. I didn't know if it's happened before, but there is a game of Dead Island 2. And I've played it. I played it at EB Games Expo quite a few years ago. Would have been maybe 2015, maybe. And I played it, and it was nothing special. It just felt like Dead Island 1, really. And now, apparently, it has leaked the actual unfinished version of the game. I've watched some videos on it on YouTube, and like there's assets in the game that aren't finished, so there's just like cubes and stuff with no textures, but the game's playable, so you can play through quite a few of the large areas of the game. And I tried to find it to download, however I feel like the powers that be have beat me to it and have like ripped it down off everywhere. There was one link that I did find. It was to I think it might be some sort of, what's the Windows cloud storage called? What's that one you use, Snoogs? You use it all the time.
I use Google, but you're talking about OneDrive.
OneDrive is what I'm talking about. Sorry, I did find a OneDrive link, but it said that the bandwidth has been there's Stewie, OneDrive, spot on, buddy. It's the bandwidth has been reached or something, so it's not allowing downloads anymore. I don't know if that's like been hit on the head by lawyers, or if that just too many people have downloaded from it and it's just put a pause on it. You probably have to pay for a pro subscription to have unlimited bandwidth or whatever. So I couldn't actually get my hands on a copy of it to try it for myself, but it's out there. I don't know if anybody can find a link to it, shoot it over to me either on our email or on our Discord. I want to get my hands on this. I want to play it. I don't know how legal that is, and for any legal eagles listening, I don't want it. Don't send it to me at all. Don't send it to lucas@theagexp.com. But go and check out the videos. The videos are there. There's a link to the video in the podcast description if you at least want to check out what people have put up. Hopefully they don't have copyright strikes and they haven't been torn down by the time you have a look at it. But that happened.
Indeed. All right. Well, the release of the information for the PS5 was due to go live last week, and we're hoping to talk more and do a bit of a breakdown on it this week. But, of course, everything that's happening in the States and whatnot. It has been put on hold. I'm not going to get into the reasons why, because I'm not getting political, but there is a rumor around that on the 3rd of June, Sony and PlayStation, as well as Polyphony Digital, have trademarked the Gran Turismo logo.
Oh, okay.
And a new version of, well, Gran Turismo, effectively Gran Turismo 7. So it's come out. So this was filed, this information was found in an Argentinian, like a trademark application type thing.
Yeah.
Is that how you sort of describe it? The core theory behind it is that it's going to be a release title with the PS5. What's it also apparently been released? There's apparently been a private showing of the trailer that's going to be shown on the PS5 reveal day, whenever that happens.
Yeah.
Showing...
You're getting thrown by the chat, aren't you?
No. I'm getting thrown by the information. Just trying to put it back into the way that it works properly. So it's apparently running 8K full ray tracing, running on the PlayStation 5 hardware.
What?
In other words, this is what it's telling me. This is the information that they're showing. They've shown it off. It's apparently running in 8K with full ray tracing.
Does the 8K displays even exist yet?
Yeah. Sony does have what they call the 8K Cledis display technology, but they're like a stupid expensive type TV. More will probably be known once the reveal happens. There's also information about how a Gran Turismo game will work in with the DualSense controller. So we'll have to just sort of see how it all works with
all I've got to say is, for fuck's sake, Sony, you haven't got 1080p 60 frames per second down pat yet. You don't have 4K 60 frames down pat yet. Let's just concentrate on that. Let's not worry about 8K just yet.
Well, the leaked video is apparently 8K at 120, but obviously it's a video. I don't know how much of it is true gameplay, but it's literally a 12-second video that's floating around the internets at the moment. Yeah,
did you see the apparent rumor of when the show is going to actually go on, the one that was delayed from last week?
11th.
Yeah, so apparently 11th.
Which will be Friday morning here.
So it'll be Friday again. It's rumoured that it's going to be delayed a week, so we'll get it again. But I don't know, if we haven't heard it yet, they haven't announced it yet, so I don't know how much notice they'll want to give people. So I don't know how much water that rumour holds. But anyway, it's supposedly the 11th in the States, Friday for us. We'll see.
All right, we'll see what happens.
Holy shit. Whoa. Hold the phone. Martikins is in the chat, says he's got that Dead Island alpha leak on the download. If that's true, then I'm telling you, do not send that link to me on Discord at all right now. Don't.
Please don't. Greg.
Yes.
The virtual E3 2020. We have some dates of when certain people are going live.
Yes.
And what's happening. So
I've got some detail. It's not everyone, but this is what I can find and correlated with a couple of sources. So I at least know that these ones are right. There were others that sort of chopped and changed between sources. So these are the ones that I'm pretty sure are concreted in. So on the 13th of June, we have the PC Gaming Show, for those people that are into that. Then there's a 3-day, some say 3, some say 2, but from the 14th and 15th at least, we'll have the Guerrilla Collective show, which is a bunch of indie titles coming together to show off their stuff. So there's the guys that made Banner Saga, Frostpunk. There's a whole bunch of them. There's heaps of them. The 25th of June will be CD Projekt Red. The 12th of July will be Ubisoft. And on my birthday, the 20th of July, will be Xbox. So they better bring me a damn good present, is all I'm saying. So that's what I've got concreted so far, and I'll keep you up to date as I find out more.
And if we go the same way that the PS4 release went on the 21st, will be Sony.
Possibly.
So we'll see what happens. Were they all in Australian time, or is that US?
No, so they were Australian. I didn't get the actual start times of the hours, but
no.
But those are Australian days.
Most of them between 5 and 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yep.
Cool.
So those are Australian dates.
Sweet. No worries. Luke, the Red Dead 2 PC mods.
Yeah, so if you've been living under a rock and aren't aware, Red Dead Redemption 2 is now available on PC, and it hasn't taken long, but there is a slew of mods available for it. One that I've come across today on Kotaku AU is Red Dead Redemption 2 mods turn Arthur into a super cowboy.
Yes.
And this is great. And for about 30 seconds, I contemplated buying Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC just so I could try out some of these mods. But this one in particular turns Arthur into like a superhero, so he can fly around. But it's not like Superman flying. It's kind of like that creepy, I can sort of drift kind of flying, you know, like when they fly standing upright sort of thing, and he can fly around
down the street going red rum.
Yeah, kind of like a ghost. So you can pick up enemies by the scruff of their shirts and throw them like into the distance. I'm watching a GIF at the moment repeating over and over of Arthur picking a guy up, flying him up into the air, and then throwing him into a brick wall, which is nice and violent. But yeah, then you can like fly them off into the skies and fly around doing basically anything you want. And it's actually pretty damn cool. And it looks great too, because you can see the world of Red Dead Redemption 2 from super duper heights, which you can't really do without climbing an actual mountain in the game. But it's so cool. This is why games need to be on PC, because the things that people can do are just amazing. And this is just one of them. This is the first one I've actually seen, and it's so cool. Just throwing, but I'm watching it as I'm speaking, and this guy, Arthur is throwing enemies into the air, into the distance, then flying and catching them on the other side because he can move so fast. It's really cool. So if you have Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC, check out these mods. I don't know how you do them, but do it. Work it out. It's really cool. Check them out.
Oh, awesome. Did you know how GT5 was free the other week on the Epic Store?
Yeah.
Apparently the mods don't work on that version of it.
Well, they would have been written for the Steam version, I would say, or the Rockstar or whatever. But yeah, that can be an issue with mods. Is if you've got a popular game on one platform, the cheats and mods and all that will be written for a particular version of the game, and then someone else comes along like Epic. It's all different because that happens with WeMod, the cheat trainer that I use in some games. Yeah. There are some games that won't work with the Windows versions of games, and some that won't work with the Epic Store version. They'll only work with the Steam version because that's what they were made for initially. If it's made, it's not that they can't, it's just that they haven't.
Yeah, it's just the coding in the background.
That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Usually, I think a lot of it's around the anti-cheat and what do they call it? I've gone blank. Just can work, but doesn't anyway. On to the last bit of news. You boys ever used itch.io?
I know the games, the IO games.
Mm-hmm. Well, itch.io is actually it's an indie platform. It's a way for indie developers to get their games out into the world relatively cheaply and can make a bit of money off selling them. It's an app that you can download to your PC, very much like your standard sort of game launches, but it's all indie type stuff. So this week, with everything that's going on and the Black Lives Matter movement and whatnot that's happening in the US at the moment, Itch is donating towards this cause, and they're selling a bundle of 700 plus games for $5. That's $5 US, so it's about $7-8 Australian. So the bundle currently holds 742 different indie games worth about $4,900.
Wow.
You pick it up for $5 or $7-8 Australian. In the next couple of days, there's been another 182 games that have been added to it. So what's that? Better part of 1,000 games for $7-8.
Yeah, right.
So that's currently on there. Every bit of money that's being raised is being split 50-50 between the NAACP Legal Defence and Educational Fund and Community Bail Fund. So I don't know a whole lot about them. I don't know anything about those. So the Legal Defence and Education Fund and the Community Bail Fund, I don't know what they do. Anyone can go and have a check. But as it speaks, in 3 days, it has raised 637,000 US, which is just shy of $1 million.
Yeah, wow. Well, that is a very good deal. If it's supporting a good cause, that's great. But that's a lot of money. A lot of game for a little bit of money.
Yes. So Mardican's actually, I'll put a link in. I'll put it in the Discord tonight. I'll put in the deals tab of the Discord once we're done here. And I think by the time this goes live, you'll have about a day or two. It's only running for a couple of days to sort of get people on board with it. But yeah, so just shy of $1 million really quickly. Martikins has asked, they are games. Yes, there's some games, there's some experiences, things like Oxenfree's in there. So that sort of there's that sort of level, and then there's other games that are obviously one-person projects that are their projects from school that they want to get some exposure on. So there's a bit of everything, but I'll put the links up and jump in and have a look because it's all going towards a good cause.
Well, there we go. Marty can just put the link in there for you. Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful. That is it for news, boys.
That's it,
Been
man.
a relatively slow week news-wise. Anyway, let's jump on to some last words.
Let's do it.
All right, last words. First and foremost, a shout out to our live listeners. Thank you. The Wraith's been quiet this week, so I haven't been too distracted by the weird, wonderful stuff.
Are you all right? Nick, are you there, buddy? Are you good? You're awake?
He's playing The Last of Us.
He's been playing The Last of Us, that's why.
Oh, good. No, we'll leave him alone. He's busy. That's fine.
Yeah. So a shout out to Az, Kazar, Martikins, Radicus, Stewie. I'm going to say a special thanks to Stewie because he's on the other side of the globe.
I know. I don't even know what time it would be there, but either way, I think that's a good effort for him to be here. And he's been here quite a few times recently. That's a pretty cool thing to do. Happy to have
Thank you very much, mate. And of course, we got the Wraith and Triss jumped in just after we started as well. So thank you very much, everyone.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for coming.
Hope you've had fun. Any other last words?
Yeah, my internet is faster than all of yours combined now. It's disgustingly fast. I fucking love it. Can you believe it? I had no idea that gigabit internet was a thing in Australia, and it is, and it's quite affordable. I'm not going to go on about who I get it through. It's not an advertisement for them because...
Yeah, not until they sponsor.
Yeah, not until they sponsor. But it is a thing.
All of us who got that shit, then they can...
That's it.
Sponsor us. We'll tell everyone.
My downloads are now capped at 1,000 megabits per second. And if you're wondering what that is in megabytes, about 104 is what I've seen max out per second, which means I gave it a test when I first got it installed. And that's about Grand Theft Auto 5 in 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good, man. It's so good. It downloads a game before it even spools up to 1,000.
So you can start streaming. You can start stream playing video games now.
Oh, well, you probably can, but most of those services don't actually come to Australia.
No.
But look, it actually does so much work now that when I hit download on something, my CPU fan on my PC spools up like I'm playing a game. Because it's like, oh my God, what's all this data? What is that so quickly? So, yeah, if I install a game on Steam, it takes longer to allocate files than it does to download them.
You're waterboarding your computer with data.
Yep, that's right, man. That's right. It's great.
All right. Well, everyone keep an eye out over on Twitch for Aussie Gamers TV and Snooger Vision. Make sure you hit that follow button so you'll get notified when we go live. And, of course, on Instagram, Grejio XBL. Have you been putting stuff up on there?
Not this week. No, I will.
All right. Cool. All right. Well, let's close it up, boys.
Let's do it.
Thank you very much to everyone that's listened to the show, and especially those that are still listening this far along. Don't forget to continue any of the topics we've discussed in the show over in our Discord channel. While you're at it, hit up our website, www.thehxp.com. Links, as always, are in the podcast show notes and descriptions. That's all from me. As always, I have been Snoogs.
I've been Lucas.
And I have been Grejio.
Sis.
Bye-bye, dude. Well, that's the end of another show, and if you're still listening to this part of the show, then know this, we love you. Come and join our exclusive Agents of Age group on Discord using the link in the description. Just join the server and say hi, quoting, "May the age be with you," and you will be added as an Agent of Age. Subscribe to this podcast using the links that are in the description for your convenience. Thanks again, we love you lots. See you next time on the official podcast of the Aussie Gamers Experience.